AITA for supporting my boyfriend when he told my son, no lock till you're 18. IF 39 have been with my boyfriend for 4 years. I have a bio son, 16-year-old son, as well as 2 step kids, 11 and 13. My son has been complaining about his younger step-siblings entering his room and taking his things constantly and without asking. I tried discussing this with the boys, and my boyfriend punished the boys and told them to ask first before taking anything and return it if taken, but my son said they haven't listened and things went back to how they were. Few days ago my son came downstairs saying his older stepbrother broke his controller and put it back and told him he returned it like his dad told him, but the controller was broken. I again went to my boyfriend with this issue and had my son sit and talk directly to him. My son asked him if he could just get a lock for his room to resolve this issue, but my boyfriend didn't welcome the idea and told him no because locks bring troubles to his house, but my son tried to convince him and assured him that he won't use the lock when he's home but only when he's at school or working. My boyfriend still said no and then told him, no lock until you're 18. Period. No more discussion. Thing is, my son will still be living with us because he decided to go to a community college, and my boyfriend told him when he reaches 18 that is when he gets to get a lock and start paying rent and no one will bother him. My son begged me to say something since he couldn't take it anymore after his controller was broken. But I agreed with my boyfriend that as the owner of the house he gets final say and no lock means no luck. However, the boys will be facing stricter punishments to enforce the no touching other stuff rule, but my son was having none of it and started yelling at me and my boyfriend, saying his stepbrothers will never respect his privacy and his stuff no matter how hard they're punch him on, as since they never learn and are stubborn and will always do what they want. He picked an argument with my boyfriend after my boyfriend said he'll pay for the controller, and then my son called me awful for siding with him and refusing to see the blatant injustice in this house and told us he's reconsidering staying with us after 18. He keeps saying I'm not on his side cause if I was I'd be encouraging him set boundaries and protect his stuff that he buys with his own money. I reminded him of how much my boyfriend helped us. We lost our apartment to debts and my boyfriend took us in 2 years ago. We had nowhere to go. And let him know he's doing his best to hold the boys accountable. YTA. Locks bring troubles. This tells you that BF does not see this as troubles. Also, your dependence for having been rescued from homelessness is worrying. I understand why you are in this position, but you will lose your son. Weigh this very carefully. So, to recap, your son buys himself things with his own money, presumably from a job or birthday gifts or something his stepbrothers, repeatedly, don't respect. His stuff clearly. Just sitting the stepbrothers down and talking to them has been ineffective. Your boyfriend won't let your son have a lock on his door because he's under 18? Even though he's clearly old enough and responsible enough to hold a job that allows him to buy his own things? One day, you're going to be back here asking why your son cut contact with you the moment he was able to. Here's a hint. It's because when he needed you to, you didn't stand up for him. Everything about your post screams that you care more about appeasing your boyfriend than protecting your son. Well, good news. The boyfriend may or may not stick around. But if this continues, your son definitely won't enjoy the consequences of your choices. YTA. Edit. Shucks. Thank you for the awards, everyone. YTA. Of course you are. There's a very simple solution to protect your son's belongings and you won't do it because what exactly is the reason your husband won't allow him a lock? What suddenly changes when he's 18? I see you say that's when he starts paying rent. That's a whole other issues. Does that mean he's only entitled to privacy and not having his belongings stolen and destroyed once he starts paying for it? Why won't you help your son? Why won't you protect him? YTA. Your 16-year-old son is old enough for lock on his door to protect his stuff that he brought with his own money. He is also at an age where he needs privacy. But also no, stop trying to guilt your son, but he took us in. No. He took you, his girlfriend, in. Your son is just the baggage that came with you. Also your debts is what led to you and your son being homeless. Once again your actions impacted your son. And given your son paid for that stuff, either you or your boyfriend better pay for anything your BF kid's broke, and if I was your son I'd be demanding that. YTA. There is zero reason a 16-year-old can't have a lock on his door. Especially if the other kids are tormenting him and breaking his stuff. I think it is great what you are doing. You are preparing your son for the real world. You are teaching your son that no one will stand up for him. Even his own mother rather obeys her husband's commands than to object for the sake of her son. Those things are great to know before entering the workforce. Also, people will destroy your stuff and there is nothing you can do about it. Even if you inform the local authorities, like your parents, your boss or the police, there is nothing they will do about it. Also YTA. YTA. And so is your nasty boyfriend. If locks cause troubles, that means your boyfriend and his family think breaking boundaries and breaching someone's privacy is the norm. Stand up for your son and definitely get him a lock. So gross. YTA. And blind to it. Can your son take your jewelry? BF's items? Where is the line? Your son will never forgive you for siding with your BF and will likely go LC with you. Where is your son's father? Is moving in with him an option for your son, because you and your BF are never going to protect his right to privacy and not having his things broken? I suggest your son get a fireproof box in the meantime. Or is that inviting trouble too? YTA. But not because of the lock. Your son wants a lock because he doesn't trust you or your boyfriend to parent the younger kids. If you and your husband agree a lock isn't the proper solution to this problem, that's fine. But you too owe it to your son to enforce the rules on the other two. It sounds like your son doesn't believe the other two kids will stay out of his room because they don't believe you two will enforce it. Either keep them out of his room for real, or get a lock with 2 keys and keep one for the two of you to inspect the room as you feel necessary. Every time those two enter his room, you're the ones he's going to feel are betraying him. And yeah, you need to pay for the controller. YTA. This is the stuff that will make him not bother having anything to do with you. YTA. This is really unfair on your son. At the very least get him a large box that can be locked. If he has a job, he should be allowed to buy one himself. If he doesn't have a PT job, he needs to get one. Your BF needs to properly punish the boys who keep taking his stuff. I would be careful, as this situation could seriously alienate you from your son. YTA. Oh, I get it. BC. You feel indebted to your BF for taking you in. You will leave your son out to dry when he keeps coming to you after your BF's children keep stealing and ruining his things. Just know he will resent you for not sticking up for him. The stricter punishments will not work. Grow a spine and stop depending on other people. Your son and his needs are more important than a BF. Your son has come to you like a responsible person to tell you your BF's children keep violating his space and keep stealing his things and you both do nothing. I hope he can find a more supportive household to live in at 18. I can't imagine how frustrating it must be to follow the rules only for your BF's children to break them all and nothing happens to them. YTA. Protecting you kid is your most important responsibility and you're failing him. I gotta go with YTA. Also, if you and your boyfriend are actively stopping him from protecting his things, I hope you are both paying to replace them. Major YTA. How do you type all of that and not realize it? How do you see your son that frustrated and distressed and not realize it? Your son has a nice shiny spine and knows how to set up boundaries and stand up for himself. Maybe learn to value him more. YTA. Your son's privacy is being invaded and you are choosing to pander to your boyfriend's ego rather than support your son. If your boyfriend won't agree to a lock, the alternative is that your son gets sole discretion to decide how to punish your boyfriend's brats when they invade his space or take his belongings without asking. No limits. YTA. Obviously your BF's punishments aren't working since they're still getting in your son's things. Not only will your son leave at 18, but he may decide to take things into his own hands and harm one or both of the kids the next time they break one of his things. Or he's going to retaliate by breaking their things. Get him a lock. YTA. Why aren't you sticking up for your son whatsoever? Why do you sit back and let your boyfriend do what he wants and just go, oh well, no luck? Quote question mark. I hope your son can get out of your controlling boyfriend's house as soon as possible. Locks bring troubles to his house. No. Stealing is bringing troubles to his house. His shitty parenting is bringing troubles to his house. Your spineless refusal to protect your own child is bringing troubles to his house. YTA. Though not as much as your boyfriend. YTA. Woman up for your kid. It's time to move out.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.